Hello everyone, welcome once again to my channel, my green card story. On this channel, we share the success story of those that have gone through the EB2-NIW route. Okay, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and drop a comment down in the comments section. So for those of you that's looking for someone to help you to draft your patient cover letter or review the one that you have written by yourself, please go on our website, www.mygreencardstory.com. Our web address is in the description of this video and also our other contact information. Reach out to us and we'll be glad to work with you. On today's episode, I'm going to be interviewing someone special. This lady, I don't know, I think I should call her woman, which is more appropriate. She filed for
Woman.
she filed for EB2 NNW twice. The first time she got the RFE, she responded to it, it was denied. Then the second time she filed, she also got a RFE, but she didn't respond to it. However, despite the fact that she didn't respond to that RFE, USCIS eventually approved her petition. So sit tight as she gave us more details about what happened, how she put together her petition, and also journey in turning in her application for green card under EB2 NIW. So for today, I'd like to welcome Miss Juliana. You are welcome, ma. Please kindly introduce yourself.
Bolola, thank you so much for having me this afternoon. My name is Juliana, and I have my both MBA and BSc all in Nigeria, and I'm currently working with a financial institution in America. And I have kind of several work experience as well related to internal audit, and also I've worked a whole lot of time as a first line of defense, also in financial services. So that's a high level summary of who I am. Thank
Okay,
you.
that's great. So I want to dig a little bit deep into your professional background. So, what exactly do you do? Are you more like an accountant or a financial expert or information technology professional? What exactly do you do? What is your area of expertise?
Yeah, currently into um, information technology auditing. Yeah, but I started my career as a bank teller. I worked as a first line of defense where I worked as a bank teller, funds transfer officer, head teller, and branch operation before I felt that, okay, I have actually reached my potential as a first line of defense. And I was looking for, I needed, to have a broader view of the financial system and the control. So that was actually what made me go into auditing. So currently I'm working as the IT auditor with a financial institution.
Okay, so how many work experience do you have? How many years of work experience do you have in total?
In total, I would say I have over 10 years work experience.
Okay, and
Uh,
and how many of those experience are how many of those years is directly relate to your present work, the present work that you do.
um, about 3 years.
Okay, so that means the remaining 7 years is on the bank teller, bank operation, and things like that. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
it's on first line of defense. Right now, I'm working as a third line of defense.
okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so we all know that we both know that EB2 NNW is for those that have an advanced degree and also professionals with exceptional ability. Why did you decide to apply for EB2 NIW?
Actually, why I chose to go that route was because I didn't even know about it until a friend of mine now told me about. I think if you can remember, there was one time you made one first flyer sometime in 2022. So the friend of mine now sent me the flyer and asked me to just I should join the webinar and see if I can qualify to apply. And he also said that if I look at it, that she feels, since I have a master's degree, that she feels I qualify for it. So when I joined the webinar seminar you had sometime, I think April 2022, and I was able to ask a lot of questions, and you and your colleague were able to answer all of my questions. So that was actually when I had this belief that I'll file for my green card using this route, because I've evaluated myself and I felt that based on the professional background as well as my professional education, that I think I stand a chance to get qualified using the route. So that was why I applied.
Okay, okay, awesome. So you filed for EB2-NIW twice. So I'll first focus on your first petition. So for your first petition, what did you propose? What was your proposed endeavor? What was the substantial international importance of that proposed endeavor?
For the first application, my proposed endeavor was to become an information technology security analyst, which is under the umbrella of cybersecurity. And my national interest was I was actually speaking towards the overall state of cyber crime in America, and how my proposed endeavor is going to be, my effort will also help to fight all those cyber crime, since IT, we call it IT security analyst, is actually a branch of cybersecurity, and cybersecurity is all about fighting cyber crimes. So that was it.
Okay, and why do you think it is of national importance to the US?
Why I thought it was of national importance to US, because of course we know that US is actually heavily US is it's there's no how you can talk about US is heavily endowed with a lot of especially during the COVID time. There was a lot of cyber crime going on with the COVID-19. So a lot of hackers were actually hacking into um US economy, US financial system, US health system, and all of that. So I felt that my contribution as a cybersecurity practitioner will also help to curb all of those crimes going on in the US. So that was actually how I felt is of national interest to American government.
Okay, great, awesome, awesome. So what, as at then, based on your first petition, what were the supporting documents that you turned in to show that you are well positioned to advance your proposed endeavor?
I submitted a lot of supporting documents. First, I submitted my professional certifications, because as I then I had done my CISA, which is certified in information security certified in information system auditing, which is also a certification that teaches towards anyone that wants to be an internal auditor, or wants to work in cybersecurity space. So I also submitted the C-Risk, which is certified in risk and information system control. I also turned in CISM, as well as CompTIA Security Plus certification, which is actually CompTIA Security Plus certification was actually when I wanted to go into cybersecurity, and I felt that is for beginners. Like if you're able to pass that certifications, it gives you like a background on what cybersecurity is all about and where you're going to face in. These are basically the four certifications for my professional certificate. Then for the professional education, I turned in my of course my certificate, which I also verified via, because I schooled in Nigeria. Both my MBA and BSc, they were all in Nigeria. So I did the West I did the West for both of them. So this is also one of the things I turned in. Then I also turned in my previous work experience. So I had to because I was able to prove to them. I also proved to them that the job I've done in the past, it's also like a connection to what I'm doing right now. So I went to my organizations back home. I also requested for a letter, kind of a letter to prove that I've worked for so and so time, and the things that I did for the bank. It's a mortgage bank, so I turned in the letter. Then I also turned in um because then I had also started working um as an auditor with this financial institution. So I turned in my offer letter, which was also yeah. Then I turned in. I had worked in one or two in about two three organizations also in America here as a consultant. So I also turned in the offer letters and some of the pay stubs and just every other supporting documents to prove that I worked in those places. Then I also turned in reference letters and what else? Just reference
Yeah.
letters. So I was able to talk to my friends to write some peer reviews as well about me. So these are some
Okay.
of the documents I turned in
So so
for.
so so are you saying that you didn't? So, for example, there are people that believe that it's only those that have publication that should apply for EB2-NIW. So you don't have anything like publication, citation, or you have not gone to any conference to give any presentation. You have not gotten any award, so you don't have anything like that.
I didn't have any publication, right?
Okay.
But I have a long service award where back home at some point when I worked for 5 years, I was given a long service award, and in the financial institution where I'm working right now, I was no for the first application I didn't turn in the because I was also given an award here, but that was when I did my 1 year, so I was given excellent service award for 1 year. But for my first time, I'm not going to talk about that one because it wasn't part of my first application. So, but I turned in 5 years service award that I got, and I also turned in um there's a commendation letter from my executive director from Nigeria that I also turned in. So that was actually at some point when we were migrating our system of record to a new software. So I had actually been part of the people that worked night and day, right, to make sure it actually was successful. It was migrated successfully, where we did our UAT and all of that. So after the migration, so I got some commendation letter from my director. So I turned that in. And I also turned in one letter where I was given a notification from my organization back home to go speak at National Conference Center. I was there to represent my organization on cybercrime. It's like where you usually go in for facilitation. So I was one of the facilitator and I was supposed to speak on some topic that is related to financial services and cybercrime. So that was what I turned in. I turned in the letter. I also turned in my commendation letter as well as my 5 year service award. But I never turned in any publication because I never had one.
Okay.
And I didn't turn in any research work because I did not do any of those research.
Okay. Okay. That's awesome. So now let's talk about the third prong of your cover letter. How were you able to show that on the balance that it will benefit the US to waive the job offer and the labor certificate?
That one was actually very subjective. I was just speaking grammar.
Okay.
I just spoke a lot of grammar, which I
Okay.
believe they did not understand.
Okay. So good. So tell me when did you turn in your first petition? What month and year?
I turned in my first petition towards the end of 2022.
Okay. And when did USCIS get back to you concerning your first petition?
It was approximately 6 months. So sometime early 2023, I think around April 2023 was
Okay.
when I got my response.
And was it approved or did you get the RFE?
I got the RFE.
Okay, I know you got the RFE. I wanted you to say it with your mouth. Okay, so you got a RFE. What exactly did USCIS say in that in, in, in your RFE?
Yeah, what they said was they said they agreed to the fact that I have my professional certificate, so it's a pass mark for me on that part. They also, on the second prongs, they said that they also agree that I stand a chance, but I didn't prove that what I'm doing is beyond the financial institution that I was working for, right? They understand the importance of what I'm doing, but they said I don't have a broader view of what I want to do. So they are believing that whatever important that my national endeavor is going to only benefit the institution that I'm working for, and which also, so part of that was like the second prongs, they gave me 50 and they took 50, and which actually made me to score zero on the third prongs. Yeah, they
Okay,
said because of that, since I could not prove the second half of the second prong, so the last one, they are not agreeing.
okay. And you responded to it. So when you were writing that response letter, what did you write about, and what and when you sent it to USCIS, what was the outcome? Did they buy into your argument, or did they say no? Sorry, we don't buy into this argument.
They didn't buy into the argument because for me, I felt I was answering the right question. So I went back to say, yeah, this is what I'm doing for this financial institution is not only going to help the financial institution. So I was just speaking plenty English. That it's not just the financial institution, is to help this, help that, and help that. And I also answered the last prompt, but they came back to say that they are denying me because I was not specific.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means your first petition was denied. So now let's talk about your second petition. When did you turn in your second petition for EB2 NIW?
So I turned in my second petition November 17, 2023.
Okay, November 2023. So what was the difference between the cover letter that you wrote for your first petition and the one that you wrote for your second petition? Were they the same or were they different?
Well, I just looked at the first personal statement and I was like, I think I've actually done everything I need to do. Then
Okay.
I now remembered that you actually spearheaded the webinar and
Okay.
you had always asked to come if we need help. That was actually when I came looking for you. And I actually sent the personal statement that I did, and I was like, can you please help me look at this and see where I did not do this thing right? Because I don't know what else to do. And that was when you came in and
Okay.
did a lot of edit,
Okay.
especially on the second half of the petition and on the second half of the prongs as well as on the
The
third
third.
one, because you said the first prong is actually okay, that you're not going to touch it.
Okay. Okay. I know I did a couple of edits, but you said so. I your supporting documents were also the same, right? You didn't add anything new
Exactly.
to it.
I did the only thing I did was while I was doing some additional trainings, I was just adding to the trainings. Yeah, I forgot to say like I also did a lot of trainings
Okay.
that are related to auditing and the ones I also did when I was working in a bank. So I actually added all of those things. So the only two things I added to my new petition was because then I was 1 year in this my new job. So I was given a placard, what they call it,
Award.
award. So what I did, I just made photocopy of the award as well as the award letter. It's just 1 year. It's just like acknowledging you for working 1 year and your good services to the organization. So I just added few more trainings that I've done. And
Yeah. Then,
that was
then, then I think when you send me that call letter, one one of the edits that we made is your proposed endeavor under the substantial merits, and I think under the national importance, we kind of demonstrated that your post endeavor will be focused more on the underserved community, like the states that were underserved in terms of IT, I mean cybersecurity and things like that. So that was like a major change in your purpose and endeavor substantial merit and national importance. Okay.
Yes, that was actually when we now became specific.
Yeah.
That, yeah, that was actually, and that was when I understood what they meant, but that you don't just say you want to work as an IT
Mm,
information IT security analyst, you want to do this, you want to do that. You had to be very specific on what you
mm,
do. So that was actually when we now streamline it to the fact that we'll be as in I will start with the underserved societies in America where there's usually constant cyber attacks,
attack.
yeah, with little or no employment or no
Mm,
cyber security presence.
mm,
Yeah, so
yeah. Then another that I remember is that under the national importance, we actually quoted the national cybersecurity strategy. Then we, we wrote a paragraph on how your post endeavor will help to fulfill the objective, like one or two objectives that was stated in the national cybersecurity strategy. Then also we also demonstrated other areas in which your post endeavor will be of national importance. So I can still remember that
yes,
part of your
yes,
cover letter. So,
yes.
anyways, so you said you turned in your new petition in November 2023. Okay. So when USCIS go back to you, they go back with you. They sent you an RFE, and that was when
So on sometime in February, I got a letter thinking it's an
approval.
approval because I thought we've done everything.
Yeah.
So it was an RFE, and I was like, oh, at this point I'm tired. So I think I
Okay.
ran back to you again,
Yeah.
and yeah,
And the RFE. So what did they say in the RFE, and what was the difference between the second RFE and the first RFE?
this one was even so heartbroken, self, because the person that wrote this RFE this time around, like the person disqualified me for the three prongs. He said, just prove to us that the person was the officer was actually, you will talk about the first prong, which has to do with professional qualification. You talk about the steps, what you need to bring, then at the end of the it you say, so go ahead and prove to me that you have that. He also came to the second prongs and talked about how it affects it, and now say, prove to me again that you have that, just for the three prongs. And so I was like, are you saying that I never qualified for any of those? Do you get? So the first RFE and denial was even better. Like I became so heartbroken when I got this second RFE, and I was like, that's actually an attempt in futility.
Yeah, and I remember when I saw the RFE, the RFE did not make sense to me because I feel everything they were asking for was explicitly stated in that call letter in detail. In fact, when I saw your proposed endeavor, I wanted to shrink it because it was like 4 pages.
Yeah.
Because you really explained it. I was like, this is too long. Because anytime I write a call letter for someone, that proposed endeavor, I write it within 1 page or 1.5 page max. Simple, straight to the point. But your own was very, very detailed. And
Yeah.
the same thing for the national substantial merit. You highlighted all the areas in which your post endeavor has substantial merit. For national importance, everything was explicitly stated. So when I saw it, even for me, it just did not make sense. And your RFA is like the second or third RFA that I've seen like that it just does not make sense. That everything we're
Mm.
asking for has already been addressed in detail in the initial petition cover
Yeah.
letter. So now you reach out to me. I suggested ways to go about it, and I think I sent you some recommendation, but you kept quiet for like 3 months, so I didn't know whether
Yeah.
you responded to it or not. So what happened? Did you decide to respond back to USCIS or you did not?
When I got your, yeah, I reached out to you and you actually gave me guide and you asked me to you know, like give a summary of those three prongs. And also when I'm doing that, I should refer them to the original submission, which I wanted to do, but each time I tried to do it, like I got so exhausted because I know how I was very zealous about putting the personal statement together. And I was also busy with other things. So what I did was I said I was going to save the date for the submission, the
Yeah.
final submission, so that maybe in a day or two before then I'll be able to put up something. And you also asked me to see if I can get one or two people that will do a reference for me so I can just add it. That was actually, if I can shrink it to like 6 pages and I'll get like two, three more reference letters. But why I didn't do that was because I think I've like all the people that I felt that qualified to give me reference letters, I think they gave me the reference letters from before the first submission. Like I have seven of my friends, including the peer reviews and directors that gave me reference letters. So I didn't want to go back to them, and I didn't also have any other person to speak to, and all of that. So by the time I realized um, that I was supposed to write it, the time had already passed. So I was like, let me just let it go. They should. So I was waiting on the denial letter so I can just start all over again or something. And all of a sudden, all of a sudden, I went to my mailbox like after 6 weeks, and I saw a letter from USCIS, this one,
Wow.
and I was like, from the back, I was like, I know the denier and normal correspondence usually come in white, just plain white paper, but this looks like
Like a green paper.
yeah, it looks green, and this is actually the approvals, like for my work authorization, every other approvals I've gotten, like for my work, it usually come this way. So I was like, I just opened it and I saw approval, and I was like, what happened? What finally happened? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I don't
So,
just know.
and you reached out to me. I was shocked because I've never seen a case in which someone did not respond to the RFE and that RFE was approved. However, I know that if you check any RFE, USS will say that if you don't respond by so and so date, they will make a decision on that person's application. So most people assume that if you don't respond to it, that decision will be a denier.
Yeah.
But for you, it wasn't a denier because from what I know, when it's time for them to review that pension again, uh, from what I've heard, they'll give it to a different person, and that person would review all the evidence before them, and based on that, that person will make a decision. So when you reached out to me, I felt that since you did not turn any response, the person just went back to that initial petition packet and reviewed that cover letter and look at the support document and decided to approve it. Because obviously you had already showed that you met the three prong. That was what I felt happened. Okay.
Yeah, that could be it. I don't even know because that was actually everybody was just everybody I spoke to was just telling me that the process is you didn't respond to them, they're going to send you denial based on abandonment, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll believe that. I guess that was actually what happened.
Yeah. So there's so many people out there that are professionals just like you. I've spoken to a couple of them. They don't have any publication, no citation. They have not given any presentation in conferences. They have like just like you. They have maybe like 10 years of work experience. Let's say for people in tech, they have all the Capta TA plus and other certifications. So, what advice will you give those people that are in your shoes that are like professionals like you and want to apply for EB2 NIW? What advice can you give them?
I'll just tell anybody that feels he or she have what it takes to just give it a shot, because you just never can tell. Like when I wanted to start, every other person I asked, they've done their publication, they had their masters in America, and they are currently pursuing the next one is the PhD.
PhD.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, even the cover letters that I read, both the ones I got from the internet and all of that, you see them quoting plenty things. But somehow I just said, let me just give it a try. So don't even just judge yourself and disqualify yourself from the get-go, right? It's just like I was ready to apply again, right? I was ready to apply the third time if this one did not work for me. But somehow, because that was actually how I got discouraged the first time, like I felt that, but within a month or two, I had to pick up my stuff and start. So I didn't know I didn't know, in short, I didn't know something like this would actually come to my doorstep. If I had listened to people and their wealth of experiences and their publications and their plenty proof of, they call it
Evidence.
proofs, evidences, I wouldn't have even gone anywhere. And
Yeah.
another thing was that when I wanted to start, I didn't know I have all of those evidences for real. Do you get? But over time, there are some I built while I was working on it, and there are some that I had earlier without even knowing that I have them, because it was when I never knew that just the commendation letter from my director way back, because we were working on T24 migration, was even was good help, but I had to ask them to send it to me, and I looked at it. It's something I felt that okay, I will use this as one of the supporting documents. So I'll ask everyone out there, once you feel you have the required work experience, you have either your bachelor's or master's, just start it, right? By the time you start, you get the inspiration, you get the inspiration to get some of the things you don't already have, and some of the things you have you don't know you have, you also remember them and add them to it. And you never can tell, right? You just it's that easy. So just please try it. Try it. Try it. Don't let anyone discourage you. Just try it first. And if you fail, try again and again and again. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much for sharing your story. I believe there's someone out there that is watching us that is also like a pusher like you. I guess this story is for you. So please think about it and look at what you have done in the past and try to write down the evidence that you have to support your petition. And if you need help, please reach out to us through our website. You can find our web address in the description section of this video. And it's also www.mygreencardstory.com. Schedule a consultation with us, and I'll be happy to sit down with you to discuss your profile for EB2-NIW. So thank you so much, everyone. See you again. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, drop a comment, and like this video. Bye.
Bye.